So it's been a month since the release of the new season of Apex Legends, and how do you guys like it? I'm not gonna lie, I'm having fun, especially with the good old Arena game mode coming back, and that's actually the topic I want to talk about today. You probably know, Arenas was originally supposed to be a permanent game mode back in Season 9 when it came out, but sadly, it didn't live up to the expectations, and after a few seasons, the whole idea was completely scrapped. We haven't seen it in the game until now, when it returned back as an LTM, and it seems like people really like it, and I can relate. This mode is super fun and unique, something about combination of Apex gunplay and mechanics, and a simple, fast-paced 3v3 fights can get me addicted to the game at times. It's definitely the most fun I've had in a while, and looking at the recent player numbers, I'm definitely not alone. This season's been a massive success so far. We have the highest player numbers in like 2 years. And I'm not saying it's only because of Arenas being in the game again, but it's definitely one of the main reasons. A lot of players love this game mode for the same reasons I do, and we kinda wish Respawn would give it another chance at making it more permanent. Maybe bring back the ranked version as well. But what would it actually take for Arenas to be successful this time? What changes need to be made so it doesn't end up like last time? Well, first of all, I think it's already on a good way to make it further this time, because it's getting upgrades and additions, and I think this was the number one reason it didn't work out before. There were some updates in the beginning, like the ranked mode or a new map or two, but that was basically it, and for seasons and seasons after, it was neglected, not updated or changed, and eventually, people just got bored of it. And what's even worse, the issues were not addressed and fixed. Matchmaking and ranked systems were awful, which allowed different kinds of glitches and exploits, and of course due to the lack of involvement from developers themselves, a disgusting amount of cheaters. I think all that was the final straw that made players give up on it, and eventually what made Respawn remove it from the game. Because why bother fixing problems when you can just nuke the whole thing and move on, right? Anyway, for Arenas to have another chance as a permanent game mode, there are definitely some things they need to change about their approach. And I can't stress this enough, because they've done it multiple times. They added something to the game, hyped the fuck out of it, then haven't touched it for seasons, and let it to die or remove it themselves. They need to learn from their previous mistakes and actually give their game the care it requires. And I know it's not entirely their fault, because obviously we know how EA is like when it comes to financial support, but there's no fucking way Respawn don't have enough money to fix some glitches or make some quality of life changes once in a while. As I mentioned before, current version of Arenas is already getting upgrades. We started with the original version to remind us how badly designed the purchasing system was, and then we got a small quality of life update, which in my opinion made Arenas like 100% better. For example, you get free syringes and shield cells, and you can't buy the same weapons you used in the previous round. God bless this fucking update. I was going insane from cringe fucks buying snipers and then camping one spot every single round. If you do this, please uninstall the game, nobody likes you. But apart from my own hatred for sniper abusers, this feature is actually good for you as a player if you wanna get better and improve with different weapons you might not normally use. On top of that, they added special weapons like EPG that can rarely spawn in a care package. You can probably imagine my reaction the first time I got blasted to pieces with it. In the second split of the season, which should be the end of this month, we're getting a completely new variant called Arenas Duels, which is basically a 1v1 version of Arenas. So pretty much the same thing that's already in R5 Reloaded. You know what else is in R5 Reloaded? The fucking input lag that makes me wanna rip my fucking hair out. So for me, R5 is basically unusable as an aim/combat trainer. I think I'm definitely not the only one with this problem. And of course, some people don't even know something like R5 exists. The only thing I hope for is that it's not gonna replace the normal 3v3 arenas that would actually suck. Also, can we please do something about support legends? I try to be tied to the chair and forced to listen to KSI's music and playing another arena game against Lifeline with infinite fucking res.
Mozambique, yeah.
But in general, this is exactly what arena game mode needed. Some kind of upgrades, variations, or even LTMs, like take a look at VR pubs. We're getting LTMs, seasonal events, map upgrades, takeovers. This is exactly what arenas need. Like imagine for example one of the Halloween LTMs but in arenas. It's a spooky night version of arena maps, like why this has never been a thing. As I said before, this game mode opens so many possibilities, it just needs being used. And I know Respawn is understaffed, the devs are underpaid, but there's still at least something you can do, even if it's just taking current pubs LTM and throwing it into arenas. Anything to keep the game fresh is better than nothing. When it comes to cheating and exploiting situation, which was another reason the original game mode died, Respawn has actually made a lot of improvements since then, and is actively doing everything to keep those imposters out of the game. And I must say, so far it works. Overall, the return of Arenas is a breath of fresh air Apex Legends really needed, and the player numbers are clear proof. A month into the season, the average player count is way above 100k, and the 24-hour peak is even 200k, and so far, we lost only 1838 players, which, compared to previous seasons, is a massive difference. And of course I know numbers are not everything, but when you look around the community, streamers, pro players, even the average player base, the overall perception of the game is so positive these days, it's actually refreshing. Of course there's still a small amount of irrelevant morons talking shit like the game's dead, but like, honestly, who gives a fuck? Both player numbers and opinions of the community proves otherwise. And that's why I think we should capitalize on this success and make arenas an actual part of the game, rather than just another LTM. That obviously goes with reintroducing the ranked mode again, but it's definitely gonna need some adjustments and changes as well. Even if Respawn does not take another shot with arenas as a permanent mode for whatever reason, I think even as a regular LTM, it's still gonna bring a lot of players back to the game. And I mean regular LTM, not the usual, oh you guys like this LTM? Too bad, you'll maybe get to play it again in 2 years. They could even do one of those ranked rumble events for it with like a special badges or rewards. Maybe it would finally be useful. Whether a permanent mode or an LTM, arenas absolutely need to be a significant part of the game again, because obviously we need it to be, at least in some form. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.